Hi, this is Zach with Warner Wound, and today we're taking a look at the Mercer Airfoil. So this actually watch that Mercer brought out, I think around a year ago or so. It's not brand new, but it's one that we've been interested in taking a look at, so excited to do that now. So this is their first pilot watch. It's a little bit more of a classic style pilot watch, modern, definitely plays off of some luxury watch styles, and I think like in doing that, as well as with some of the features that they have here, the idea was to bring out a more upscale watch. Their watches are, generally speaking, very affordable. This one is affordable as well. It is $800, and it's a really high value watch because of some of the features that it has, which I'll go over. But at $800, it is also their most expensive watch. So it's a 40mm case, which is a really nice size for a modern pilot. Not too big, not too small. Has nice presence. I think you can see here on my wrist, it fits well. You know, it's not a bad lug to lug, around 50. So very comfortable in that respect, and not too thick either. It is powered by a Sellita SW200 movement, so a good Swiss automatic movement. That's their Sellita is basically equivalent to the ETA 2824, so a solid workhorse movement. It's actually a little bit decorated as well, which we can show you. It has a double dome sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating, good lume on here, BGW9, sapphire caseback, once again showing off that movement, 100-meter water resistance. So far so good. All really like solid features for a sport watch. But then what it has that's a little bit different that sets it apart, particularly on this version, the steel version, is what they call a ruggedized case. So what that is a DLC coating, actually, that basically adds a layer of hardness to the case, making it much more scratch resistant. This is different from other technologies that we've seen, such as integumenting, Damasco's hardening, Bramont's hardening, because this is a coating on top of it. The steel itself isn't getting hardened, but in having that DLC coating, you are going to make it more abrasion resistant. And it actually creates a slightly different feel to the metal as well. It's a little bit slick feeling, which is interesting. It's not something I've seen, like a clear coat, a clear DLC coat before. So it's really cool that a micro brand such as Mercer can use that, and it just simply adds to the value of it. There is also a black version, which we have here, and that is also a DLC, so you get that kind of cool, slick, you know, all black look, which is very appealing. Same though, kind of ruggedized treatment there, just because it is a DLC coating. Quickly, actually, here I can show you that the movement through that sapphire caseback has a blued rotor there, which is a nice touch as well. Getting in now to the dial. You know, it's a modern, as I said, a modern pilot dial layout that, in my eye, you know, I can't really escape it. It is very reminiscent of the Bremont Solo watches. So, you know, that's just there. I saw that immediately. But there are twists to it that make it a little bit, you know, different, and certainly their own. You have applied indices all around. At 12, 3, 6, and 9, you have solid markers with lume in them, and then you have numerals for the other markers. This is my one kind of picky detail about the dial. I feel like those markers, because of the finish on them, which is a little too polished, they kind of get lost in the black. That just sometimes at a glance, it's like they're there, but they're not quite there. They don't really pop the way you'd want to see them pop. I don't know if brushing them would have made them better, or if just making them, you know, in the same style as these other markers with some surrounds and applied, or some surrounds and some lume filling would have just made them a little bit more bold. I do think this goes towards the concept of this being a little bit of a higher end piece, something that's a little bit more upscale looking, something maybe that's a quasi pilot, sort of dress pilot, if you will. But for me, I want high legibility on my pilot watches, so that was just something that struck me a little bit. That said, it is offset somewhat by the chapter ring on the outside, which is a raised chapter ring. You have dots for the hour, you have smaller dots in between. Those are nice and bright, can't miss them. Hands here then are modified sword style with big amounts of loom and red second hand. So it's an interesting mix of things. I think it does work. Like I said, that one thing is something that I personally would tweak, but it's not like it's totally ineffective. You can certainly see the numerals in most circumstances, just sometimes the lighting will play tricks on it and they'll kind of disappear. The date at 6 is nice. Matching date wheel, keeps the balance of the watch well, feels really well integrated into this design. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think the Airfoil, it's $7.99. I mean, I think it's a great value for this DLC case, for the movement, for everything that goes into it. It's a nice size. It's a cool option if you're looking for something in the pilot vein that isn't a classic Flieger and doesn't cost an arm and a leg.